Welcome to another Nantucket edition of Your Creative Midlife. I'm Betsy Bush. How many of you out there have dreams of forming a rock group with your pals, playing the music you love for a bunch of appreciative fans who come out to groove to the tunes? That's pretty much what happens every Sunday afternoon at the Sandbar on Nantucket's Jetties Beach, when Cranberry Alarm Clock takes the stage. I am so excited to finally have the Fab Four in the studio today. They just got back a couple of weeks ago from Liverpool, where they took part in the International Beatle Week Festival. We have so much to talk about. But first, guys, I would love for you to introduce yourselves. And we'll start with Skip.
Hi, Skip Curtin, guitar player.
Hi, Tom Proch. I play drums and sing.
Yep, Phil Proch. I play bass and do backup vocals.
Frankie Hunter, play guitar and sing.
So everybody wants to know, what was it like to go to Liverpool for this International Beatle Week and play at the legendary Cavern Club and everything? I know you went with the good wishes of so many people here on Nantucket. We watched you live on Facebook, and we know there's a lot of stories to tell. So somebody start. How was it?
Yeah, it was amazing. A lot of support for the local community. A lot of family came from all over. It was really cool, It was good to get all the band's families together, and it was quite special,
We had about 60 people, not all at the same time, but 60 people from friends, Nantucketers, people from Connecticut, from Scotland, from England, from Ireland. So we had a nice following, and it was amazing. But in the same way, we had a lot of people that we didn't know, and seeing their reaction to our playing was really something else.
Somebody tell me what Beatle Week is. How many groups were there? What's the process of your even going? Right? You had to apply to go. Is that right?
We did. We had to apply. And there's about 60 bands from all over the world that play at the festival. And it's pretty cool to meet some of these other musicians and chat about, music and where they're from, where we're from, how it all works. But it was an application process. They needed a lot of stuff from us that we didn't have initially because we were just a local band playing in a local bar down at the beach. So we had to step up our game, record some music, put together a video, get some professional photographs taken, bio, and that kind of thing, just to fulfill the application. And, we put it all together. The first time we didn't get accepted because we didn't have the application stuff complete. And ironically, both Frankie and I have met with the booking agent there, over the course of a couple of years, because Frankie goes back to Scotland every year, and one time he was in Liverpool and met Clark, who was the booking agent. And last year I was over there last fall, and I called on him while I was there passing through and had a nice chat with him. So I think having that personal connection also helped, solidify the deal that we were, pros and adults, and we could make the trip and afford to do it and would show up when needed, So I think that was key also.
Yeah. For me, it was very gratifying just to have the opportunity to do this whole thing. I mean, I was very young, but I remember watching the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show against my parents' wishes. But to have it all come back around and be there 60 years later.
So what was it like playing in the Cavern Club? The legendary venue where the Beatles, first broke out in Liverpool.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm surprised we weren't overwhelmed just being there, but I think we were focused on playing the music, and I'm sitting in the drum kit in that space. And I'm like, don't think about it. Don't think about the history right now. Just focus on the music. And I had every night I would have a different set list on top of my bass drum. And I remember the first night playing, and I look, and we're like 3/4 of the way through the set list, and I'm like, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. You know what I mean? But once we got that first one out of the way, it was we just enjoyed it so much. It was fabulous.
It was hot and sweaty too, right? I mean, I would turn around and look at Skip, and it's just a river of sweat coming off him. It was hot, but we're wearing these costumes as well.
Yeah, you had the braided, like marching band jackets, or
Yeah, they were Nehru jackets to nod to the '60s that were embellished by a friend of ours who did a great job. Yeah, and but they were fully lined and they were hot, and the air conditioning isn't big in England, it seems. But it was amazing. It was also a lot of pressure because you just had a short period to set up, and they provide the sound engineer, the drums, the amps, and you essentially had about 15 minutes to get all your stuff on stage plugged in. It's different voltage. You had the adapters for your pedal boards, all the stuff you had to think about. So one band's coming off, and the next band's going on, and it's packed with people, and it's hot, and it's, and the clock is ticking. So, it's just plug and play. But it all worked out. Once we got one under our belt, which was the first gig, was actually the main stage in the Cavern, which was on an evening like 7:00 at night, which was a really nice slot, and the place was packed.
We actually did it.
Great.
We get set up 5 minutes early, right?
Right.
Remember the guys like, we're like ready to go. We were so like, focusing on what we had to do. Go in there, set your. Skip says you get 5-10 minutes, but you get 15 minutes. We did it maybe within 10.
Yeah, so we could add an extra song to the set list because of it. And
if you look at any photos of us standing on the stage in the Cavern, you'll see I can barely stand up straight in there.
You're the tallest of the group, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much the same size, Tommy and I, but
But Tommy sits.
I have my head tilted a lot.
What were the other groups like? Were there any others that would, I would say, fit your demographic? I should say you're all, mid-50s, mid-60s? Sure. Yeah. Were others in that? Some of you are laughing. You can tell me if you want. I'm not shy about my age. But were there other? Were they all kind of that generation?
No, there was across the board. Across
everything,
the board.
yeah. I think I was probably the oldest musician there, very possibly. Possibly. Yeah.
There was like a German band there. I never seen them. If you guys seen them, it was like an Papa band that did
Beatles
Papa Beatles songs.
Yeah.
And they were all dressed in the costumes. You had Chinese, not Chinese, sorry. You had Japanese bands. South American,
Sweden, Brazil, Chile.
The bands from
Indonesia.
Chile were awesome. The Chilean bands, there was like 3 of them. They were really good.
Yeah, and there was a band called Penny Lane, which was a female band, and they were from Nashville.
Oh.
And they were great, and they were doing their Beatles songs, but you could feel and hear the kind of southern twang to it, So everybody was doing Beatle music, but you add your own kind of special feel to it.
Yeah. That really speaks to the kind of the universality of Beatles music, doesn't it? Tell me how you guys got started and how long have you been playing together?
Well, Phil and I have been playing...
your brothers, right?
since we were teenagers. Of course, I went off this way and had a career in cooking, and Phil was still down in Connecticut, so we didn't get to play much, And, of course, I did a lot of traveling being a chef, and you just don't travel with a drum kit. It's not that easy. But what year did you get up to Nantucket?
2007.
Yeah. So when Phil came up, it was like, oh, great, we can play. So we would just play around, the two of us. And
we had never played together as adults.
No, not really.
Yeah.
But... in the shoulder season, I would do construction, and I was on a construction site, and the painter was there, Frankie. And he probably had a radio going. I don't remember, but we started talking music, and of course the Beatles had to come up, and it was like, oh, we got to get together sometime. And long story short, finally we did. So.
So did you start out in someone's basement or a garage and kind of seeing how it sounded?
Basically, yeah, in somebody's cottage maybe, and I think we immediately had a feel for what we were doing. I mean, Phil and we share the same DNA, so I think we play together pretty well. And Frankie came in, and I think we just hit it off immediately.
Yeah, we've got the same. Well, all of us. I mean, Skip come in further down the road, but Cranberry Alarm Clock may have started when we got together, but it didn't really happen until Skip came in. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Because it was by name we were Cranberry Alarm Clock before Skip, but it did not happen until Skip.
They needed a father figure.
We needed Papa to come in. You know?
That's why we call him the doctor.
But Skip came in and then it all changed. It was like always, really looking at the guys now, it was always the missing link, really. We needed another guitar player. We lost the guy that used to sit in with us, and it was, we went through a period of people would sit in, but it just wasn't there. And then Skip came in, and that changed everything. But just, when something just happens when it's right, it was just, it was like, right, this is great.
Now, do you, Frankie, and Skip have more professional musician experience? Is that
played
what
longer, yeah. I mean, I played in a band in the 90s. I played basically since I was 16, 17, but playing in bars for about 20 onwards. Skip, obviously.
Same thing. I've always had a gig my whole adult life since I was probably 20 until 70, and which I am 70, which is crazy. I moved here in 16 and hooked up with these guys in 17. And when I moved here full-time, we had a house here for many years prior to that, and then we finally made the move, and I figured I'd never play music again. Though I had been playing right along, it's a whole new group of people. I don't know anybody, and, I just dreamed it would never happen, and the opposite actually happened.
He came to retire. That's a joke, isn't it? He came to retire. So much for that.
So you're all year-rounders.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'd just love to know what you all do. Skip, are you still retired?
I am retired. Yeah, for about almost 2 years now. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Nice.
I highly recommend it.
I look forward to it. Yeah. I was a chef at the Club Car for 29 years and got into teaching culinary arts after I didn't want to burn out. I got out while I still enjoyed it, and I love teaching the kids. And 11 years in now, I'm seeing former students that are making their way in the field, which is just fabulous. And I really enjoy the kids.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I came here with really no plan. I was in the auto industry in the service department in Connecticut. And, coming out here would have been this mom and pop dealership, and somebody basically has to die before you can get a spot. So, but as a credit to our father, we always did everything ourselves growing up. So it was very natural for me to get into carpentry, just change the material from steel to wood, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist with that kind of stuff. So I got a job right away.
Well, there's lots in that area to do, I think, right? Yeah. On Nantucket now. Frankie, how about you?
I came to America in 1990. Right? Is it? I can't remember. 91, sorry. I came in 91 and bounced around a lot. I used to travel, Key West, New York, back. moved around a lot. I was in another band from Nantucket. We went to Florida. We went to Germany. We ended up back in Nantucket again. And that was in 2000. I've been here full time with my wife and my family. And I'm still painting houses. So
I know a lot of people who are up during the summer are actually very winter curious. It's like, what is it like to be here full time? You guys are so busy during the summer season. You must really love it when it kind of quiets down and you can, get a parking spot or.
Yeah, we don't want people to know that.
Yeah, right.
We want to keep our secret.
When did you start playing at the Sandbar? When did that whole thing happen?
Good question.
2017, maybe? Something like that, right?
17 or 18, yeah.
17 or 18.
It was
That long?
It was when Nick and George got the, what do you call it, the lease for the concession at the building, because it's a town-owned building. And they got a 5-year lease, and then I'm not sure how we even connected with those guys.
But that is such a great gig. I have to say, I know someone, a friend of mine, I'm in Westchester County during the year, and he has a little band. He also plays drums, and he has a band. His friends get together, but they're lucky to get 1 or 2 gigs a year at, some venue in the city. And I think it's amazing that you're playing every week.
Oh, Sandbar Sunday, that's their busiest
Yeah.
day of the week. Employees fight over getting scheduled to work on a Sunday
Sure.
because not only the music, but there's plenty of business.
Oh my gosh, you can't even get to I couldn't even get to the bar a couple of Sundays. And I first discovered you guys, I don't know, maybe it came up on a Facebook post or whatever. It's like, oh, I've got to go hear this group down at Chetty's, down at the Sandbar. And what I love about it is there's no cover charge. It's like you walk in and you can enjoy it. You don't have to buy a drink or anything. You just get there and people are dancing and you're there and there's the beach and it waves in the distance and people are just there enjoying it. It is I don't know, it's one of the ultimate Nantucket experiences.
I agree.
I agree, too. It's I equate it to a beach bar in the Caribbean. It's that same kind of vibe.
Absolutely.
It's like something out of an Elvis movie. Elvis is down the beach dancing.
But we've never seen an issue there. There's never a problem with clientele. There's tourists, there's locals, there's kids, there's families. There's people in their 70s.
Yeah. Pets.
It's got everything, and it's kind of weird because there's no real bandstand, and we're just kind of tucked up by the bar, and it's not by design that it works. It's just kind of just happened. I think it's a combination of George and Nick that run the place. They do a super job, and they keep that vibe alive there. And we just fill a little niche on a Sunday afternoon, and it's become our kind of residency during the season. And it's if you tried to design it to work, it probably wouldn't have worked,
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's what I liked about it was there's this kind of give and take between you as the performers, as the band, and the people who are listening, dancing. I know probably, on the shoulder seasons, or I don't know, when I was my first visit was, I think, Memorial Day weekend. It was still pretty cold, right? And where people are in jackets. But it was clear that, you knew a lot of them and people were just having fun. And it was like, wow, I can't recall a time when it's like live music and it's not on this gigantic screen and you don't have any chance of getting close to the musicians. And it's like, this is like so much fun. This is the way it ought to be, right?
Yeah. There's nothing like live music, and there's so many great bands on the island playing in different venues, and you can't beat it. Everybody loves live music, and it's interesting because you'll see younger people there who maybe never experienced a live band in front of them, and they get into it. It's wonderful.
It's true.
Do you find you're mentoring any younger musicians by chance? Is there a younger band that wants to know how you do it or bringing them along?
I work in the high school, and the amount of students that play instruments, and I say keep playing it, never stop. And there was a student many years ago. He was a little bit lost, and I helped turn him on to drums. I gave him a drum pad and sticks, and he went from there, and he ended up being the drummer for one of the more popular bands out here.
Wow.
And he just recently went to music school. So that band is actively looking for a drummer. But as it turns out, I met another kid who's an amazing drummer. And I said, you have to find these guys, and, maybe you'll have a place in that band. But there's so much musical talent out here. It's insane.
Why do you think that is? Why Nantucket? Why do you think? Is it the concentration of geographically it's a small place and everyone's kind of mushed up together?
I think Nantucket is just it attracts creative people and artists and people who are into various arts, so that might be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's not busy season, you have time to sit and try to sculpt your craft or whatever you're passionate about. And if it's music, that's just awesome.
There's been some research about how important it is to play music, how play music, keep playing music, learning new instruments as far as brain health goes as people age. And it's interesting that, so many people as they age, and this has been part of the themes of my podcast, which is you have interests when you're young, but you set them aside as you enter the job market or your career goes in a different direction. And how are you going to practice the drums or your guitar, or, your bass or whatever, or painting or things like that? And we set them aside. And in midlife is a great time to be picking those up again because it's important for brain health and just keeping yourself, alive in a really, in a real sense, and also the sociability aspect, because isolation as we get older is such a big problem. People withdraw or they become isolated. And what I see here is not only do you have, the four of you, but of course your families and your fans and things like that, and you're doing new things and you're trying new things. And it's really it's great to see.
It is great.
I refer to Sunday Sandbar as my therapy session.
I mean, we, because we live in this island, it's full on in the summer, and it slows down in the winter, and we all have our jobs, but we always, we look forward to practice. We've got two phases. You got May, October, we're out there doing our thing, playing live, different gigs, do a lot of private events for yacht clubs, stuff like that. Then we get from October to May to get together, 4 guys in a room, no pressure, just have fun, right? Yeah. We throw stuff around, we try this, try that, and just have fun with it, and every year we'll come up with 3 or 4 new tunes, generally something to change it up. But it's just fun, and it started off that way, but obviously it's become more than that. Now it's became, something even bigger than we thought it would be. It's like, it's a social event for people now. They're like, you guys playing Sunday? Come down, they hang out. So, if you're not playing, they complain.
Yeah. But we put a lot of work into it in the off season, and we play with a lot of energy and enthusiasm because we love it. And Tommy and Phil, my take when I first met these guys, when I first played with them, they were coming back into it after being away from it for decades, really, and they still had the enthusiasm of teenage boys, and I noticed it right away, and I was kind of the opposite of that. I had been playing gigs for, 40 plus years. And, I'm kind of maybe a little more jaded by the whole idea of it. And, it wasn't going to be as spontaneous and alive as these guys were that had like skipped a generation and dropped the needle back on the record where it left off when they were kids. And that enthusiasm was obvious. And then Frankie is very energetic, and he's always
younger. That's why
he's positive and always has a lot of energy to bring in, and gets excited about things. If something starts happening with the band, that's good. He's like all over it, and we're working on it and working it out, and getting better at it and making it ourselves or whatever we do when we're messing around over the winter seasons. And we have a great client, one of Phil's clients, that lets us use his beautiful guest house all winter, which is so generous, that's what this island is. It's like that, So we have this beautiful little house we can go into that's heated and the bathroom works, and, we're like, oh my God, how lucky are we? Instead of trying to find an old garage that's, filthy and dirty and cold and try to play for an hour, So, and leading up to going to Liverpool, when the community found out that we got accepted, and, it was just kind of a cool story for us older guys to be invited to go play. And they stepped up big time. They wanted to contribute, they wanted to help, they wanted to be involved. And David, the manager at the Wisconsin Casino, was generous to give us a Friday night in August. I mean, what are the chances of that, And then the staff was wonderful, and then all our wives and family got involved in helping with, silent auction items, which we got tons of gift cards and things from restaurants and businesses around the island, and had about 350 people showed up for the gig. Wow. John Shea wanted to MC it for us, and he, it's just kind of overwhelming. And then we get to Liverpool, and there's like 60 people that came to see us from, different parts of the world, which was, super overwhelming. And the love that you could feel from, we had a built-in audience pretty much for almost every gig of the Liverpool thing. So
True.
Though the place was packed, and then we had our entourage with us, and they were pumped to see us. So the exchange of energy and enthusiasm and love was just, you couldn't even make this up,
Wow.
And,
you mean the community here, Skip's saying it's an amazing thing, just, the interest I've put into it. But when we come back from Liverpool, I was telling Skip, and it's happening to these guys too, right? First day back, everywhere I went, there was people I didn't know saying, "You were in Liverpool, right? How did it go?" I went to the hub. I knew one guy and had 5 guys around me. "How is it? Yeah, how did it go?" Just amazing. And I'm like, I don't even know these people, but they know that we went. They've seen us on social media. They've seen Nantucket magazine. Just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. The interest that you showed. So, and one of the things I thought was pretty cool, I think the first day we were there, the guy that introduces the bands in Liverpool at the Cavern Club, he said, "A band from America," and we says, "No, we're from Nantucket." So we made sure we got that in, and make sure we're from Nantucket, USA, but it was Nantucket first. As long as you tell them we're from Nantucket, that's it. That was where
People don't even know where Nantucket is.
it's like, even if you're not a Beatles fan, to say you played the Cavern is, it's very difficult to get gigs in Liverpool. I was talking to a couple of local musicians. They said it's so hard to get an actual gig in Liverpool, because when you walk around Liverpool, there is live music everywhere, not just the Cavern. On the streets, it's just coming out of every bar. There's bands, musicians.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's vibrant city. Probably, and I do know the British cities because I'm from Scotland and I've been to them all. And I would say now Liverpool is the top city in the United Kingdom, without for nightlife, for entertainment, for vibrance, for everything. It's number one.
History.
Oh,
Yeah. The
interesting.
waterfront.
Yeah.
I've never
It's
heard
amazing.
that.
They
Wow.
have put so much money into that city, and they've really pushed it. They have the Beatles. They have a very successful soccer team too. But London's obviously everybody wants to go. But Liverpool for me is amazing. I was so impressed, and I've been a few times, but to spend time there, it was incredible.
So, of course, we want to know what is next for you guys. You just, keep going. Do you, I think about the Beatles and all the kind of the 60s and the 70s stuff. Are you moving into maybe a new wave era? Have you thought about Elvis Costello covers or anything
Not really.
like that?
No.
I mean, first and foremost, I think we all want to have fun. As long as this is fun, we'll do it. Musically, where it goes, well, we'll see. I mean, we're kind of running out of Beatles stuff to cover. I mean, we've been through the songbook. There's only so much that'll go, but as long as we're making music and having fun with it, there's not really too much expectation on it. As long as we're having fun with it, I mean, it'd be nice to do some couple of original tunes at some point. That would be nice.
Do any of you write music?
Yeah. Well, we're kind of working on it. It's the next step, and then we'll see where it goes.
We're a real rock and roll outfit. 2 guitars and bass drums, and 3 singers. I mean, we're going to stay in that format,
Right.
and it's it drives pretty good along. And so if we choose other covers to do or come up with original material, it's all going to be in that vein because we've kind of built it. And we have a lot of room in the cover tunes that we do to expand and, jam, change things up, combine things, take it for a ride and then come back, So whatever comes out of us in the next phase is going to be based off of all this work we've done up to this point, with the main focus on keeping it fun and entertaining and just kind of driving and energized so people can feel that we're pumping along pretty good and want to take them along for the ride.
Right.
Well, it seems to be a winning formula. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, as Mick Jagger says, it's only rock and roll, but I like it, and that's what we like, rock and roll. Really, that's what we do best. It could be 5 chords, but a lot of time it's just 3.
And another key element is the personalities. Fortunately, there's 4 of us, and we don't have any really issues between us. There's no so-called leader. There's no ego that's bigger than another ego, and so we can communicate and we can make decisions relatively easily and relatively quickly. And we might have issues of direction or song choice or tempo or whatever, but it gets resolved pretty quickly. And at this point of our lives, if you can't get along with the guys you're hanging with, it's no sense, getting off the couch and go do it, So that is as important as anything else. And I think that's what's special about, the 4 of us, that we have that kind of connection outside of a musical connection.
Frankie Hunter, Tom Proch, Phil Proch, and Skip Curtin. They are Cranberry Alarm Clock, and it has been so wonderful to sit down and hear all about it, hear about your trip to Liverpool and the Beatle Week Festival, and just what it's like to be part of a band that's here on Nantucket and has a following and just lends something to the life here on Nantucket that makes it so special. And I want to thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
It's great.
Great.
Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for listening to this Nantucket edition of Your Creative Midlife, a podcast for late-blooming artists, writers, musicians, any and all creatives. And if you like us, please tell your friends, subscribe, and please leave a 5-star review. And visit yourcreativemidlife.com to learn more about me and my guests. I'm Betsy Bush.